Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Swenson.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. Almost a month after Hurricane Ida, Entergy says it has restored power to nearly all of the customers who lost it in the storm.
But critics are also asking why it took so long, especially in areas like New Orleans and Jefferson Parish that did not take a direct hit. Eyewitness investigative reporter David Hammer reports the answer might be found in how Entergy spends its money.
The questions came after Hurricane Isaac in 2012.
I'm looking to see a report from the head of the major corporation as to how much investment has gone into infrastructure versus profit.
And they came again after Hurricane Ida this year.
Can you tell me how much money you've spent on upgrades and hardening of transmission systems versus just repairing them?
Why do Entergy's transmission lines keep failing in big storms? Large transmission lines carry high-voltage electricity across long distances, from power plants to substations, so it can be distributed on smaller lines and power poles to homes and businesses. All 8 of those transmission superhighways into the New Orleans area failed in Hurricane Ida. One main transmission tower even collapsed into a rusty heap. Entergy's critics say that's because the utility refuses to invest in maintaining and improving the transmission grid that connects to other regions and other utility companies.
But actually, what's damaging is they're making a concerted effort to stop progress.
John Norris is the former chairman of the Iowa Public Service Commission and served on the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. As a FERC commissioner in 2013, Norris voted to let Entergy join MISO, an organization that manages the transmission grid operated by different utilities in the Midwest. The Justice Department was investigating Entergy for preventing the kind of competition that could have lowered rates for customers. Joining MISO should have opened up more cheaper sources of energy from northern states tied in through an expanded electric grid. But Norris said that never happened.
And then since Entergy joined MISO, they have continued to obstruct, try and delay and stop regional planning so that regional lines don't get built.
Clean energy consultant Andy Kowalczyk told Entergy's regulators at the New Orleans City Council that Entergy treats the transmission grid like a used car.
We can't keep, spending money on one used car after another used car. We got to invest in long-term solutions.
What Entergy does invest in is generating its own electricity. Entergy Louisiana and Entergy New Orleans say they spent $2.7 billion adding 4 gas-fired power plants in 2019 and 2020 alone in Lake Charles, St. Charles Parish, Washington Parish, and New Orleans East. And federal government records show that over the last 5 years, Entergy Louisiana and Entergy New Orleans spent 4 times as much to generate their own power as they did to operate, maintain, and improve the transmission grid. Entergy then sells the power it generates for tens of millions of dollars in profits. Norris says that's out of whack compared to the major utility companies in MISO North.
It is indicative of Entergy's business model, which is to build generation and protect it from competition to maximize the return they can get on that generation investment.
Norris says the only way to change that is for government regulators at the City Council and Louisiana Public Service Commission to get tough with Entergy.
They've got to look behind the curtain. Entergy is masterful, and so regulators have got to recognize to not just take Entergy's word for anything, but actually verify and be open.
Otherwise, the questions after storms will keep sounding like a broken record. David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
And Entergy's reports to FERC shows that it doubled its spending on the transmission system from 2019 to 2020, but still spent twice as much on generating its own power. The company did not respond to our specific questions about its spending.